Hi, I'm Jonathan Creel, and I lead the Manhattan Project National Historical Park at Los Alamos National Laboratory. I'm standing at historic Pajarito site, or Technical Area 18, or as we call it for short, TA18. And this area is special. It encompasses not only the human history of the Pajarito Plateau, but it also serves as a microcosm of Manhattan Project history here at Los Alamos. This area is also unique because we can get members of the public here behind the fence and onto laboratory property to tour this special site. Congress established the park in 2015 to protect, preserve, and to share the story of this important chapter of American history and how it changed the world. We here at Los Alamos National Laboratory are proud to be part of this park. When visitors come behind the fence, they see 5 different landmarks. First, ancestral Puebloan cavates, and we explain the prehistory of the Pajarito Plateau. We then move to Pond Cabin, that's here behind me, where Emilio Segre's team first studied plutonium chemistry. We also have a Battleship Bunker that supported high explosives testing for the implosion design. And we have the Slotin Building, which is the site of Louis Slotin's criticality accident. There are also 2 Manhattan Project-era guard shacks. And finally, we end up at the hillside vault that is built into the cliff face here at Pajarito site.
We're standing in front of Pond Cabin. Constructed in 1914, it's one of the oldest structures in Los Alamos National Laboratory, originally built by Ashley Pond as part of the Pajarito Club. In this building, Emilio Segre was doing very complex calculations to determine whether or not plutonium was suitable in a gun-assembled weapon. Because of its age, it's the subject of incredible restoration efforts done in concert with the National Park Service. If you were to ever read Emilio Segre's biography, he talks about the beauty of this canyon. Working in scenery such as this gave them hope. It gave them motivation during the early Manhattan Project.
I am standing here in front of Battleship Bunker. It is called the Battleship Bunker because the front end of it is shaped like the prow of a ship, such that when the explosive shockwave comes down the canyon towards the bunker, it's actually split, just like water gets split into waves. After Emilio Segre's experiment showed that the plutonium gun design was not going to work, the Los Alamos scientists needed to come up with a different concept. They started small, so that they could understand how implosion might work, but they also needed to develop the diagnostics to measure how well implosion would work. It all culminates only 49 hours before Trinity happens. This gave them the confidence that implosion with plutonium was going to work.
Welcome to the inside of Battleship Bunker. This bunker housed all the sensitive electronic instruments that were taking the data from the explosive tests. It shielded it from the shock and protected the equipment. We know from the actual shot reports that they fired the shot using a key. Then oscilloscopes that are mounted took the data. We have cameras, Polaroid cameras, that are looking at the front face of the scope that would then take a picture of the trace. Using those traces, they were able to plot points and determine that there was enough compression and that the Trinity device would work.
The Slotin Building, the world's second and perhaps most famous nuclear criticality accident. Although the Second World War technically ends in August of 1945, the research mission of Project Y doesn't end at this point in time. Working with a series of beryllium hemishells, Louis Slotin was demonstrating an experiment to 7 other people within this building. Using a screwdriver instead of a series of shims, the screwdriver slipped out of his hand. The beryllium hemishells came closed, and all 8 people were exposed to radiation. Louis Slotin received the most and succumbed to his injuries 9 days later. In the decades following the Slotin accident, this building was remodeled several times and interior walls were added so that the location of the accident actually ended up in the center of a hallway. In 2024, we removed these walls and restored the structure to its historic configuration. Then we brought back 1940s-era workbenches, tools, and other furniture to create a simplified mock-up of the scene of the Slotin accident so that visitors can step inside and visualize this moment in history. When we think about the laboratory today, with the policies and procedures that govern our work, a lot of those policies and procedures come out of lessons that are learned from history. The Slotin Building embodies those lessons.
Welcome to your last stop on the Manhattan Project tour. This is the Hillside Vault. After the Slotin accident, the laboratory went to exclusively remotely assembled criticality experiments. This vault was built to house the nuclear material from those experiments. This is an actual bank vault door that leads to the entrance of the vault. And if you want to see the interior, you're going to have to come on our tour.
So many people were involved to make this park a reality, from DOE and laboratory leadership to our partners at the Park Service, to the local community and other partners across the country. Thank you.